Hello there. So that's gonna be Itomid playing Cortex. We'll see what on all that glitters. So yeah, not sure what is going on with this max, which was started and not ended. Okay, so okay, we got bots, 2 solars. So yeah, there's this issue that you should start 1 solar before you finish the third max, because then you stall on energy. But yeah, it's a bit minor, but it's good to keep in mind. Okay, so 2 solars, that's good. I would advise you to get some more energy production before you go with the lab. But yeah, I mean, it's not required, but if you want to start, for example, with construction, but it's easier to do it if you, for example, have 1 more solar or some winds. Okay, so starting with resbot, yeah, I would say it's very greedy, especially on this map, because like honestly there is not much for you to reclaim. Like what, there is like 300, let's say, metal, and it's mostly on your side of the map, so it's not like you have to contest it. So basically this resbot doesn't do much for you. It's like the claiming all the metal on your side is more like for the eco player. So yeah, it's I wouldn't go with the resbot on this map, because yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's worth it. Okay, so looks like you are walking away from your base already, and you don't have any build power in your base, so that's a very, or rather not a very good idea, because now your lab, it will take a lot of time to build your constructors or things like that. Basically, good rule of thumb is to not leave your base with your commander when you have some metal to spare. Because yeah, now you will float this metal for a long time, because yeah, it will take 30 seconds instead of 8 to make a construction bot, and it will take like a minute to build the construction turret. So it really puts you behind if you go like that. So stay with your commander at the base and make sure that you yeah, build some build power before that. I guess you got the con from the echo player, but yeah, I guess that was a mistake, but it's kinda help you out a lot in this situation. But yeah, not sure why. Okay, so like, I know that there is often talks that you should rush the front line to like set up position, but if you do it at the cost of like completely neglecting your base, it just sets you behind, because now you have 800 metal, which should be units at this point. But like you will get there, okay, you will get these maxes, but you have no way of defending that, because like they can, like the yellow can just go here, you have already some grants here, they can just go all around you, and you have no units, no production, so you have no way of defending yourself. So actually, like rushing like that with like nothing behind you, it's just not the best idea, because any aggressive player with ticks or whatever would just come and clear your base. All right. So I think your max is up. You kinda almost, yeah, it was barely out of range. If you put this LLT a bit closer, you deny this max, which would be very good. So something to keep in mind, that like you can put it like here, and it would be already like, yeah, prevent this max from working. Okay, so as you can see, it takes over a minute to build this contract, and like you have already 1000 metal. It's very like so it slows you down a lot. So I think it's good idea to either have a constructor and conturret before you leave your base with commander, or like 3 constructors, because they can build conturret on their own pretty quickly. So yeah, I would advise you to do something like that. Okay, so you got few rocket bots and then went for fags. Is nice. That's also something I prefer. Just few rocket bots to kill the LATs and you can just push with fags. That's like a good composition. Alright, so now you finally have some build power at your base. But yeah, you already have issues like you have a lot of maxes, right? And they take a lot of your energy. But you didn't really add much energy production. Like you have minus 30, which is like big chunk of your income because you have only plus 15, I mean 150. So yeah, I think like this start really sets you behind. Okay, so what do you have there? Now you got the max, 3-2 max of days, which is good. You get forward radar, which is very good. Another thing I would consider is to make a radar somewhere in your base and before you leave, because it's kinda keep you safe against early harassment, like build a radar here and then here, right? Then you have everything covered nicely. Because very annoying if there's some like units sneak by outside of line of sight, and yeah, it also can deal a lot of damage. Okay, this AHL heavy laser, I wouldn't go for it there because like for me it's good idea to build it when you like have enemies like here and you want to push them back, but they are already here. So actually it's too far back, right? You should fortify this side and not with heavy lasers because they are like to outrange something which want to harass, but if you just went with tanks, he would just walk past it and went for your base, right? So it's better idea to build the dragon maps. They are very good. So like this a bit of wall like that and like 2 dragon maps and it's kinda covered. So yeah. Then those are basically to scare off enemies, rocket bots or missile trucks, like the lashers, right? And you just don't you don't just build them like that to sit there. They don't have anything to shoot. All right, so you have 3000 metal and a lot of energy, so it really screams for more build power at your base. You really don't want these numbers. You should like try to have the metal bar as low as possible, like without stalling. I mean, if you were floating like 200, it would be good. So you probably should add like 3 more construction turrets, maybe something like a bit of grid like that, because then you can just build wings all around them and you have a lot of space for that. Okay, you don't start like the T2 lab without your maxes. You should focus on building maxes first. And also it's not like going for lab and then construction turrets is kinda bad because like you need build power to do something with the lab. So if you started with construction turrets, you would build it faster and you would immediately can build units there, right? So that's something I would advise you to do. Okay, I see you adding a lot of construction, but I guess it's for the Maxis upgrade. Some resurrection at the front, okay. I mean, you have quite sizable army, so you should like, yeah, you can just push this guy back. But I would really focus on this side, because like you are really focused here, but these 2 guys could just like funnel here with fast units and you wouldn't be able to do anything. Like you kinda forgot about this side of your front. Okay. Okay, so I see you assisting the T2 con with the construction bots, which is good. And yeah, okay, you stop building the construction turrets, that's kinda bad. You really need, like, at this point you should have like at least 3 or 4. So yeah. I think that should that's something you should focus on. Alright, so early Sheldons will help you a lot for sure with pushing them back. I think what you could use... Okay, you're actually making grants, so grants is what you need. And I would also advise you to, if you have like front like that, pretty in good spot, it's a good idea to add construction turrets at the front, because they firstly will repair your units, which is always good, but also you have like you are ready to build like a T1 lab here and have grants like coming. You have like closer. The closer you have the labs, the better, because then your units don't have to walk here, right? So yeah, there is two things. You either go with the like construction turrets and you go with T1 lab front and like use it to like screen the front line to like prevent them from walking towards you, because they have to deal with grants we just run around here. Or you build a T2 lab front, and it's also a good idea, because then you can make slow units like mammoths or sumos, and they actually don't have to walk all the way, which also helps a lot. Okay. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to have rally points like at least here, because I also prefer not having rally points like to the front, but rally somewhere here, so actually have your units closer in case you need them, right? Like have them outside of you, so they don't know that you already have them, but like not so far back. Okay. So I have nice party upgrading the maxes. I think you slowly should think about the... yeah, because you run out of energy at converters. These T2 maxes take also a lot of energy. So yeah, it's good idea to like make maybe 4 or 5 if you have a lot of wins, and then make a fusion. So you are like secure from like this situation when you don't have you no longer have energy to upgrade more maxes, like because you cannot sustain. Okay. Well, Sheldons are coming to the front. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't push like that if you have Sheldons already. Like you can just kill it everything with the Sheldons, and then you walk with Fags to like clean, or use them as the front line for the Sheldon, right? Because it's like you have better units for this shop, so I wouldn't do this push with Fags now. Okay. So actually, yeah, it's like this. What you are doing with your wins is consider something like that. This guy has only this area for his stuff, and you have this. So like, don't build your buildings in his base, because he doesn't have any spots for his buildings. You have a lot of place here. Just build wins like here and here, right? So you don't like kinda constrain your air player from having any spots to build. All right. So you have your Sheldon army, and what you do with them? Yeah, you really need a fusion at this point. You are really struggling with energy at this point. Okay. Okay, so now the issue okay, you actually can kill all of that because you have vision. But for this, he already had, I guess that was hounds. Okay, you are a bit too close. You don't have to like walk into their range, right? Okay, but he already has jammers and things there. So probably what you need is having grants actually just walking here to provide the vision for your Sheldons, because otherwise it's kinda tricky to kill hounds of his, right? Okay. And recently what I like to do is also to, like, you have this nice Sheldon ball, which will clear a lot of that. But actually I like to add some arbiters. because as long as you have like solid units in range, even if you have it on fire at will, it will actually shoot towers, and yeah, it will just make it annoying because like it's hard to maneuver freely when there are rockets coming down on you. So it's actually, I like to have some arbiters in this ball to just have a bit more range, to just zone even better the enemies. And it's also good if they already have like artillery, because you can outrange it. Okay. But yeah, for now, just shall just do the job, done. But yeah, you really struggle with energy at this point, so you should really focus on that. Okay, and because you already have a lot of them, and the thing is that at this point, if he just went for the tanks, he would just run down your Sheldons and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Or if he just used the spy bot, he would just EMP all of your Sheldons and they are dead. So actually at this point, like you have so many of them that you should start thinking about like protecting them, having some front line in front of them. So for example, the grants at least should be just line in front to prevent spy bots from like walking into them and EMPing all of them at once, because that would be a disaster for you. Okay. So yeah, I guess you are focusing on the Sheldons at this point completely. Yeah. So yeah, that's also an issue. Like you are pushing pretty nicely, right? But yeah, oh, that's what I was talking about. You got EMP'd and they are dead. Also, these T1 tanks could even easily kill all of your Sheldons because you don't have any frontline for that. So that's why you, like when you have like 10 or 15 of them, I would stop producing Sheldons. And that would be a very good point to make a forward T2 lab and make mammoths or sumos at least to have like solid front line in front of your Sheldon, because then it's just much harder to kill them. All right. Okay, you are queuing up some fusions. But yeah, there's a lot of walking, right? I wouldn't go back with this con. I mean, you have T2 lab, just build another construction bot and start building it. Because you have almost 10,000 metal. I mean, it's like you should have huge army right now, but you are actually not spending your resources. So that's something to work on. And now adding all these contours when you don't have fusion, and like building fusion outside of range of them is kinda like you don't need fusion in 5 minutes, right? It just doesn't help you at all. You need it now. So yeah, I would just build it. If you don't want to like use all build power on the fusion, but honestly you should, because you have 6,000 metal, you could just build it like so these turrets wouldn't have it in range. So you build fusion like here, and then only these turrets will assist it. So that's actually a pretty good way of like scaling up your economy, but also making units, and just having like building outside of range of some turrets. Okay. But yeah, the issue here is that you are going only Sheldons. Okay, you're starting mammoths, but yeah, the issue with mammoths then is that it's a lot of walking for them. They are very slow. So it would be probably faster to reclaim the lab and rebuild it here and make a mammoth. And it would be faster on the front than just walking from the base. And if you want to like move it quickly because you don't have any build power here, just make like 5 twitchers and use them to build up some build power on the front. Okay, so this is kinda bad because he has 3 tremors and you are pushing into them, and yeah, it's probably just not gonna happen because they kinda counter your Sheldons. So you really need something like more tanky, which can just walk here without like heavy losses like you have right now. All right. I'm looking at the wrong player. Okay. So yeah, this is yeah, the lack of fusion at this point is kinda makes you stall a lot. You would be able to just kill because they don't have anything, right? They really don't have anything, and you have all the resources. But if only you had this fusion and like spend your resources, you would be able to kill that. But just take a look how much time it takes for this mammoth is, let's say 40 seconds now, 25, 40, and see when he reaches the front. Now it takes him 1 minute to walk from here to here. So you see, that's the 1 minute is a lot, right? Okay, you're finally assisting the fusion production. Which, yeah, it's kinda right now it's reasonable. Like fusion, I mean, it's kinda good, I would say. But what do you have? Okay, so I think the main issue right now is that you are focusing so much on Sheldons. Because like at this point there is like too many heavy units, I think, and you should focus on going for the like more mammoths if you already have so many Sheldons. Because like you don't need more of them. You need something which will allow them to push forward without dying. But yeah, considering that they have already catapults and things like that, I think it would be a good idea maybe to also switch to T3 and make Shiva, just spam Shivas instead. Because you are actually spending a lot of resources on these units and they will all die if these catapults just make the salvo on them. So that's something to consider. Okay. Okay, so now you have a lot of energy, but no metal. So that's also would be a good point to reconsider adding more fusions, because like you already have a lot of energy, and maybe make some converters, but never build converters like that, because then like 2 bombers will just kill all of that, because the converters will kill fusions, and this always just chain react. So if you build fusions here, then converters go here, like away from the fusions. Always have converters away from your fusion, because it's just asking for a disaster. Okay, yeah, that's why Sheldons aren't a good idea at this point. Just dying to one shot from the vanguards. Like the era of like Sheldons is long past. All right. So I assume that now we will come to the issue of being outscaled. But yeah, I guess your team is also doing fine, so it's actually your team is doing fine. But yeah, at this point you are just a bit behind, because there are T3 units and everything on the front, so your units are not really gonna do much. And the thing is that if you made your like fusion and build power earlier, you would be able to like win this match like 10 minutes ago, because you had huge advantage, right? But because you kind of stayed on the resources, on like production and everything, you just got like left behind, let's say. Because right now you don't really have like meaningful army at this point. And what you can do is actually just support your teammates which have T3 units. So that's what I would focus on at this point. Like make some Junos to kill the ticks, and just like I mean Defiance and Grants is a good idea, but just put them in front of this T3, because if you pushed here, you would probably push back these catapults easily. Okay. And also another thing to consider as Cortex are always scuttles. Scuttles are great, especially in lower tiers, because probably they don't have many countermeasures and things like that, so you probably would be able to sneak some scuttle like in the backline and blow up some buildings. And it's also fun. Okay. Okay, so I just massing units right now. I guess it's a good idea to just mass units like that, and yeah, be ready if your team makes some big push, you just then follow them up. Okay. But I see the nukes are walking. Yeah, I wouldn't push them by yourself at this point. Just focus the guys with the T3. Or even this guy. Because you have like very squishy units. So you have to find someone with heavy units and just support them. For example, this guy is making a nice... Let's say he made a nice breakthrough, if not for these razors. So that would be a place good to like follow up. Or all this make a frontline for these T3 units. Okay, so I'm going for T3. Again, like making T3 lab outside of your build power is just like... I mean, you won't be able to produce anything here because you don't have any build power. So at this point, if you want to go for T3, then reclaim T2 lab. And yeah, and build it here. And also, I'm not sure like why you're making so many T2 constructors. We for sure don't need them. If you want to just spam build power because you need it, then make Twitchers, they are more cost efficient. Alright. So I guess match kinda stays because no one wants to push. And your backline just wants to win with nukes. So I guess that's yeah, something that stays this match actually. Because probably if you just went for the units, you would win already. Not okay. For now, yeah, I wouldn't go also with sumos at this point. I mean, you can make mammoths because they are actually pretty good against, even against like T3 units like Razors and Shivas. But yeah, sumos won't cut it at this point. Okay. So what is going on in this match? The green is trying to push. So probably it would be a good idea to just follow this up, because yeah. But yeah, I will just see what happens next. Okay, I'm going to cover the... Oh, they blow up nicely. No need to cover, right? Okay. Yeah, making Juggernauts with no build power, I mean 17 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. You really don't... Like, okay, you now add build power, but you don't have... Actually, I don't have metal for that. So yeah. Basically, you have some tendency to build your base like inside of bases with your allies. I would avoid it because it's like honestly very annoying. And it's just makes it so if your fusion dies, then it changes into this, and suddenly all your team is yes, because like everyone hacks each other. So like this is your place to make your base, and not this. Just keep in mind. And yeah, going for the most expensive unit when you really don't have much resources, it's not a good idea. You would be better off just making Shivas or Garganats, because like 10 Shivas now is better than Juggernaut in 30 minutes, because like this match won't go for 30 minutes, so yeah. Okay. So I think the like your unit composition is something to work on. Because like there's no point in making these sumos at this point, because there is nothing they will be able to kill. So you should just reclaim that and focus on T3. You want to go for T3. But yeah, I think at this point just green is gonna push it till the end, so doesn't really matter at this point. And no nuke will connect, so also another lesson where spamming nukes isn't that good, unless you hit the spot without anti-nuke cover, because there is one, I guess. Or not. Okay, but there is only one anti-nuke, so probably there it would land, or here, but he cannot know it, so. Okay, so yeah, that's the example why your sumos won't do anything. I mean, if he just like if there are so many T3 units in play already, they just don't do anything at all. They just got rolled over. Alright. Okay, I guess this is finished, so no point in looking at it anymore. So, in summary, what I would advise you to do is firstly, don't leave your base with commander without having build power there. I would go with either like one construction bot and counter-it, or 3 construction bots, because this kinda works pretty nicely at this point. So that's the first thing. Another thing is that you need more build power when you already start floating metal. Like if you have like not around 0, then add 1 or 2 turrets. And if you are still not like coming to 0, then add few more. It's better to do it like that than just add 20, because then you probably overbuild them. And yeah, when you go with upgrading your maxes, I would go like make 4 or 5 and then fusion, and then rest of the maxes, because without fusion, if you don't have like huge wind farms, like 100 of them, you will really quickly run out of energy. And as for unit composition, going for Sheldons early is good, but when you already have like 15 of them, you need to think about frontline for them, because as you could feel here, it's very easy to just run them down or EMP if you don't have anything in front of them. So you need to prevent that. For example, if like making a concave of grunts in front of them, like you have Sheldons here and grunts like that, or just some sumos, or maybe a mammoth, even single mammoth early, followed by Sheldons can do a lot of damage. And also what I like to do is adding some arbiters for like even longer range support, but like only few of them, just to like annoy people with rockets and maybe shoot some arty. So yeah, that would be my advices. I think it would improve your play a lot. Oh, and the base building, don't build toward your allies, because it's like not your spot. Like build forward, because that's where you have place to build, right? Okay. And yeah, I hope that helps. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you found it helpful, and yeah, see you next time.